Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Emery Pitcel of Rothrock Chiropractic and Rehabilitation here in State College, Pennsylvania. We are a chiropractic office, and we are now in December of 2024, which crazy enough how quick time goes by, right? But we're in December of 2024, and each month we have a podcast series on our top five common kind of concepts. And this month we thought as winter rolls in and the colder weather hits and we find ourselves being a little more sedentary, staying in, watching a little bit more movies and TVs instead of being outside and active and doing stuff, we figured it would be great to go over the top 5 tactics that we have to avoid low back pain at the desk or frankly just while sitting at home, but tailoring this to be like work specific for those that are desk workers. So let's go through these each one at a time. Point number 1 is perform your rehab exercises. I know what some of you might be thinking. I don't have any rehab exercises. So if you haven't seen us before, haven't been to physical therapy, haven't been to another chiropractor that does rehab style with their practice, maybe a good idea to go see one and just kind of pick up some helpful tips. But if not, if you have been a patient here and you've already learned some of your concepts, like great exercises like the windshield wipers or the cat cows, know how to kind of do your McKenzie exercise, whether that's flexion series, lateral series, or extension, like 80% of people end up being in the extension series. But either way, if you've been prescribed rehab exercises here specifically, keep doing them. It's going to help you stay out of low back pain while you're doing your desk work this winter. All right, point number 2, similar vein as point number 1, we want you to be focusing on strengthening your core and strengthening your glutes. Now, the glute muscles back here, your buttock muscles and your abdominals are the main part that make up the core. They will frequently get weak and underactivated and underutilized, which then actually sets up the lumbar erectors and the hip flexor muscles through the front to get over tight and overactive and start to drive pain into the low back region. By spending even just 3 or 4 times a week doing some core strengthening work, it's going to make a difference for helping you stay out of low back pain while you're doing your desk work or sitting around during the winter season. Again, that's another concept that if you've been a patient here and you've worked into the strengthening phase, we've taught you how to do proper glute bridges and we've taught you how to do dead bugs, maybe challenging higher end exercises like the plank cat cows or the hip balancing with opposite hip circles or the star patterns of that. But those are all types of things that are going to help you keep yourself out of low back pain. Now for the next, we're actually going to swivel the camera a little bit, so if you get motion sickness, bear with me. But point number 3, modify your ergonomic spaces. So I'm going to show you the workspace that I have down here, everybody. So this is the desk that I sit at. Here's some great modifying tips. So if you have a chair and it doesn't have amazing lumbar support, get something like the McKenzie foam roll here. It has like straps on the back of it to cinch and set into there, so that way that could go right in the small back and keep your back forward. I also work predominantly on the laptop, so if you're working at home and you don't have necessarily a super nice workplace desk, then you can actually get something like a laptop cage, which then gives you the ability to change the pitch and the height of where the computer's at. And now I have the computer a lot closer to eye level versus down here, it's keeping that low. Now, of course, that's going to have some problems with the neck and the shoulders, absolutely. But what we're also going to find is as you look down, you tend to round out and flatten in your low back as well too. So just having the computer at that proper height is going to make a big difference right there as well too. And then of course, having a keyboard out in front where you can actually have your shoulders and your elbows not too far away from your sides. It's okay if they're a few inches. You just don't want to be all the way out here. You want to make sure the arms are kind of relaxed by the side so the shoulders can be relaxed, and that again keeps the low back in as neutral of a position as possible. And of course, if you have a standing desk and you have the ability to bring this entire complex up and spend about a third to a quarter of the day working and standing, then by all means do that. It's immensely helpful. All right, point number 4. I know you all can't see the whiteboard, but the point number 4 is learn how to do some basic chair yoga. So yes, we've gone over that the rehab exercises and doing strengthening is great, but on the fly each day, being able to do a little bit of chair yoga makes a really big difference. So some of the really basic, easy exercises are just like knowing how to control where your pelvis is in space. So if you're able to sit yourself forward on the chair and do some back and forth between rounding out the back this way to stretch the back a little bit, and that's tilting the tailbone underneath yourself and getting a little bit of core activity. You can also learn to pitch the pelvis the other way and actually work on getting some back arching done. Certainly part of yoga would be crisscrossing the leg and then kind of going through here and getting a piriformis stretch and doing some repetitions like that. Being really careful when we do anything like this, but just even doing a little bit of like the gentle, and as soon as you feel that tensile load hit, then you're done. It's usually kind of nice to have like the arms up here doing that. And then, of course, nothing wrong with getting a little bit of core activity, keeping that back nice and straight, and kind of just doing a little bit of like the seated marches and everything, just to kind of get that going. And a final one that is generally pretty good is while you're sitting here, just kind of doing some repetitive buttock squeezes. And usually for this one, we'll tell people have your hands underneath your hamstrings here, keep your back straight. But that way, if you feel you're squeezing your hamstrings, and you're going to feel that tendon pop right down into your hand versus just doing glute squeezes to get the buttocks activated there and further kind of get the glutes working so it can calm down how much your lumbar erectors in your QL is functioning. Now, once again, moving back over to midline, hold tight for those who maybe get a little motion issues. And we're going to finish up with our final point, which is this: set timers for every 30 to 60 minutes to encourage yourself to get up and walk. So just stand up out of that chair, even if it's I walk over and I touch the opposite wall and I come back. Now, of course, the timers would be great because they would double back with our first point, which is perform your rehab exercises, perform your McKenzie exercise like every 2 hours or so. But even if it's just as simple as every hour, I'm going to get up, I'm going to walk to the kitchen if I'm working at home, and I'm going to get myself a glass of water. I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk to the restroom every hour, every 30 to 60 minutes. So that way you break that cycle of the low back muscles just tightening, 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 and not getting blood flow and neurological reset. That's going to really help to keep you out of low back pain presentations as well too. It's that changing up of positions and making sure you're not staying in any one ergonomic position for 2, 3 straight hours without getting that party broken up some. So that is what we have for our month of December 2024, our top 5 chiropractic tactics to avoid low back pain while working at your desk. We hope that this information was helpful, and if you know of somebody, whether it's yourself or a friend or family members of yours that can really benefit from hearing this information and are struggling to get through their workday due to low back pain, pass them along this video. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. It continues to help us and it continues to allow us to get our information out to more people. But from Rothrock Chiropractic and Rehabilitation, I am Dr. Emery Pitcel. We hope everybody has a great December. Happy holidays to all. Thank you for tuning into the video, and take care until next time.